Welcome to Faith Fiction and or Folklore, or the Try podcast, where we try not to F podcast stuff. And tonight we got Gary. How are you?
I am okay, good sir. Cannot complain. How are you?
I'm trying not to complain.
I'm just holding so many complaints back. I can't contain myself.
Yeah, and we are going to listen to this guy talk about how Yeshua became Jesus, like the name, Greek versus Hebrew.
Sweet.
So
Let's do it.
I thought it was pretty cool. The name changing type stuff, why we use the name Jesus and stuff like that.
Yeah. So. Sounds good, man. Let's get her done.
Come from, and what was the original name of our Messiah? In the Bible, names have significant meanings. For example, the name Abram means exalted father, but the name Abraham means father of a multitude. This is why God changed his name from Abram to Abraham, saying, "No longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, for I have made you a father of many nations." Likewise, the name of our Messiah has significant meaning. When the angel of the Lord spoke to Joseph about his son, he told Joseph what to name the child, saying, "And she will bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Yeshua, for he will save his people from their sins." This is significant because the name Yeshua means...
Do you happen to know what version he read that from?
I do not. No? I do not, sir.
Okay.
Means salvation.
Sorry.
The angel was basically saying, call him salvation, because he will save his people from their sins. So, where did the name Jesus come from? When his name was translated into Greek, it became Jesus. The IE represents the Y sound, the S represents the Sh sound, and the OU represents the WA sound. But why did they add the S to the end of his name? The Greek language has certain rules about nouns that indicate case, number, and gender by their spelling. This means the same word can have different spelling depending on its use as a subject or an object in a sentence. For example, Jesus is in the nominative case, while Yesu is in the genitive case. The spelling of the name Jesus has been in use for less than 400 years. This can easily be seen in the fact that the 1611 King James Version of the Bible still spelled his name Jesus, not Jesus. The name Jesus was used in Greek, Latin, and English until the 17th century, when the letter J was introduced as a replacement for the letter I when used as a consonant. However, it was still pronounced Jesus for many years before it eventually took on the J sound that we know today in the word Jesus. This means the pronunciation of the name Jesus is a very recent development in the English language. It is also interesting to note that if his name was directly translated from Hebrew into English, it would be Joshua, because Joshua of the Old Testament and Jesus of the New Testament are the same name in both Hebrew and Greek. We can clearly see this in the book of Acts, when Joshua is...
This makes me want to learn Greek and Hebrew just to see if he's right. You know?
I'm sure he is. That's why you have, but you can check that probably in like a Strong's Concordance, or I have Greek flashcards back there. I don't know if they have the name Joshua in it, but you know.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Is referenced in the book of Acts. His name in Greek is identical to the name of Jesus in Greek. Likewise, in the Septuagint, the Greek version of the Old Testament, Joshua's name is also translated into Greek as Jesus. In fact, if you look up the name Jesus in the Strong's Concordance, it will tell you that Jesus is the Greek form of the name Joshua. So if Joshua and Jesus share the same name in both Hebrew and Greek, why do they have different English names? Some people assume there's a great conspiracy involved in why the names are different. However, it's a very simple explanation. When the Old Testament Hebrew text was translated into English, they phonetically translated Yeshua as Joshua. And when they translated the Greek New Testament into English, they phonetically translated Jesus as Jesus, with one exception. When Jesus referred to Joshua son of Nun, the translators continued to use the name Joshua to avoid confusion. I've heard some pretty ridiculous theories about the name Jesus. For example, some people claim that the name Jesus really means Hail Zeus, which is simply untrue and proves that they're unfamiliar with the Greek language.
Hail Zeus. That's ridiculous.
I don't know if it was Bart Ehrman who said that, but that sounds like something Bart Ehrman would say.
Who's Bart Ehrman?
Oh, he's like this New Testament scholar who became an atheist as a result of his scholarship.
Oh.
Never once occurred to him to assume that maybe New Testament scholarship sucks in the current day, but he just assumed the Bible wasn't real. He's somebody who does a lot of and he does a lot of equivocations with like old myths and stuff and saying it's equivalent to what's in the gospel. Basically, Christ is some kind of hybridization of a bunch of pagan myths and Jewish culture.
Kind of like Hercules, almost.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. It's there was one, I cannot remember the details. I think Mike Winger did a thing on it. I was watching Mike Winger and he did a commentary on it, and basically Ehrman was sitting there saying like this particular pagan myth that had like swans. Like this girl gives a birth to some Greek mythology figure, and then there's a lightning strike and swans are all around, and it's ridiculous. And Bart Ehrman, he turns around and goes, "This is just like the virgin birth." And you're like, no,
wow.
That's not even close.
Not even close.
What's the matter with you? It's like, swans must equal virgin. So I don't know. He's a strange character, that man.
Wow.
Language.
Anyway.
They make this claim because the words Jesus and Zeus have very similar pronunciation and spelling in English. However, in Greek, there are no connections between these two names, except that they both end with an S sound. If you compare the two names in Greek, you will see that they have very different spelling. Zeus is spelled this way, and Jesus is spelled this way. Some people also claim that his name was changed to Jesus to hide the fact that he was a Jew, since Jesus is based on a Greek name rather than a Hebrew name. While it is possible that there might be some truth to this claim, it is pretty far-fetched to think that it was some grand conspiracy to hide the Jewishness of Jesus, since the Bible clearly tells us that Jesus was Jewish. For it is evident that our Lord...
Why would anybody want to hide that he's Jewish? Like, what?
People get mad because the Jewish people consider themselves to be the chosen people, and for whatever reason, individuals tend to take that very personally. Like, they get upset.
I see.
And so there's kind of this desire, I guess you would say, to kind of hide the fact that Jesus was a Jew.
I got you.
So it's a little silly, but that's kind of where people are at.
Silly people.
Yeah.
Lord arose from Judah, of which Moses spoke nothing concerning the priesthood. Likewise, the Gospels contain some pretty extensive genealogies that trace the Jewish lineage of Jesus back to a number of Old Testament Jewish people, including Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and David. Unfortunately, despite these facts, some people remain unaware of the fact that Jesus was Jewish. However, I think it has less to do with the pronunciation of his name and more to do with these people not knowing what the Scriptures say about him. Is it wrong to call him Jesus? I don't think there's anything wrong with using the name Jesus. But in the Bible, names have meaning. And the name Yeshua means salvation. Yet the Greek, Latin, and English translations do not carry any meaning, since they are phonetically created words that did not exist otherwise. I prefer to call him by his Hebrew name Yeshua, because it has such powerful meaning and significance. He is salvation, and his name is salvation. But I am by no means a sacred namer. And I want you to know that it does not bother me at all if you prefer to use the name Jesus, because I know who you're talking about, and he knows who you're talking about. Unfortunately, some people treat his name as if it's a magic word. They seem to think if you pronounce his name a certain way, your prayers will be answered, But if you don't say his name just right, your prayers are going to be ignored. I've even heard people argue that you must pronounce his name a certain way if you want to be saved. Let me just say, this is not the way his name should be treated. Our God is not so petty that he would reject someone for using the wrong name. Languages change over time. Pronunciation changes from one location to another. We can see some pretty vast differences just within the English language. If you took people from London, New Jersey, Louisiana, and Australia and placed them all in the same room, you would immediately notice how differently they all speak the same language. They're all speaking English, but which one is speaking the right English? This is a good example of why fighting over pronunciation is unprofitable. Placing so much emphasis on a certain pronunciation of his name is like the person in New Jersey telling the person from Australia that they're not speaking English correctly. It's more important that we understand the meaning of the words than it is to have the correct pronunciation of them. I hope this teaching has helped to clear up some of the confusion.
I agree with him.
I do too.
I like what he had to say about the names.
I do as well, man. I think that was a good way to put it. It's a very good video.
But I've got another one that goes into detail on God's name 1,000 years ago, or 6,000 years ago, and it's talking about Yahweh. It's kind of the same type of deal, if you want to listen to that.
Yeah, let's listen to this and wrap it up for the evening.
Okay.
The most shocking discovery I've made in my truth journey. The true name of God has been removed from our Bibles over 6,000 times, and that name is Yahuwah, represented by the Tetragrammaton YHWH, which translates to the numerical sequence of 10565. The name of God, YHWH, repeats over and over in your DNA. The shortened version of his name is Yah. We see this in Psalm 68 verse 4. Sing unto God, sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Jah. But guess what? The letter J was only invented 500 years ago. If we go to the original Hebrew for Jah, it is Yah. Right, and we know Jehovah is a false translation because Hova in Hebrew translates to ruin, disaster, and calamity. Who's the one that comes to kill, steal, and destroy? Destruction. It's Satan. What did Satan say in his heart? He said, I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. He wants to take over God's position, which is what got him cast out of heaven and why he's so angry now. He's going to try to deceive all of us. The name Yah is also written on your face. Y-A-H. You also say the name Yahuwah every single time you breathe. Alright, he breathed into Adam's nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Your bronchial breath, the inhale and exhale, and the inhale and exhale of the vesicular breath are both represented by a 3-to-1 ratio. Alright, Psalms 150 verse 6, let everything that has breath praise Yahuwah. You're saying his name every time you breathe and you don't even know it. Right, we know it's not Yahweh because the breath is a 3-to-1 ratio. Yahuwah.
That's
not
crazy.
A 2-to-1 ratio. The name Yahweh is a...
What do you think? You think he's
I'm getting
overplaying
number 23 vibes.
23?
I'm getting the number 23. You ever seen that movie, The Number 23?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, well, basically it's a guy reading into patterns a little too much, but then it turns out he's actually right. So, it's like, well, was he right to read the patterns? Anyway, no, I don't think it matters. Like, the other guy before had it right. Like, God isn't so petty that you've got to get his pronunciation exactly right. Because then what's the thing? It's not you. It's not about you. It's about him.
Yeah.
He's not a demon that you can conjure by saying the name right.
Yeah.
There's not a bunch of stupid nuances and all this whatnot that people try to add so they can feel special.
God looks at your heart, not at what you call him.
Exactly.
Unless you blaspheme his name, then he's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, if you're being openly disrespectful, that might be, another matter. But, if you're trying, he looks at the heart, you know? That's the thing. He looks at the heart. And you have to, like he's not stupid and he's not petty. He knows why you're doing what you're doing. So relax.
Relax.
So
Yeah.
that would be my thought. Does that answer your question, good sir?
It does. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Well, you want to finish this video or wrap it up?
I think we should wrap it up.
Okay.
Unless we haven't gotten 23 minutes in. Seed number 23. It's all coming together, Trevor. So.
I don't remember how far we got on this one yet.
That's all right. I'm sure it'll be close enough for government work.
we could sit here in silence for 10 minutes and make sure we get it there.
That would be hateful.
Hate crime against.
We've already got like all 5 people watching us. Let's not disrespect those poor souls any more than we already have.
Oh, they're not disrespected, unless they are and just aren't chatting about it.
Yeah, that's why they're not in the chat. They're like, man, I ain't gotta talk to these crazy people. So. Oh, hey, did you see our last video? Dude, I hadn't looked at our numbers. I hadn't looked at our numbers in a little while because this week has been miserable. But
yeah,
dude, we got hit with a copyright strike for the Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro video, and we got ratioed.
We got ratioed? What does that mean?
Oh, yeah, well, basically more dislikes than likes. Because that was the one where, like, Shapiro was mad at Tucker Carlson for interviewing Nick Fuentes, and I was like, hey, I don't like what Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes have to say on the subject of Israel, but they get to talk. People got mad about that! I thought that was pretty vanilla, but apparently it was dumb.
Wow.
Oh, I don't understand the internet.
I don't either.
So, I stand by what I said, though. I don't like what they had to say, but people get to talk, so meh.
Meh. Say what you want to say.
That's my high-level academic rebuttal.
It's a free country. Meh.
Yeah, it's a free country. All right. On that random tangent done. All right, you got anything else? All right, sounds good, man. So you want to close this out?
All right, so thank you for watching with us this evening. We're going to go ahead and end it here, and we will see you guys in the next video. And if you're on the live stream, also, thank you for being here, and hopefully we'll get back into our normal streaming if I can figure out this producing thing. So thank you so much.
You're getting there. So, all right. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see ya.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.